Hello, what is going on? We are 4 days away from Ironman Louisville, which is a race of, it's a 2.4 mile swim, a 112-mile bike, and a full marathon, all in one day, yes. That is what I explain a lot of times. It is the same day that you do all three of these events. And that's what we're training for. We have all of us going up there to do this 2.4 mile swim, this 112-mile bike, and this 26-mile run. And we have 4 days to get ready for that. So what are you doing? Did you get some good training in today? Did you go out and bust your ass? Did you go out and chop logs or swim around the lake? Maybe ride the hills a little bit? Running hill repeats in the sand like Walter Payton used to do for the Bears in his off season, train and get ready for that big football season. Well, I didn't do anything, nothing. I cleaned my car, I cleaned my kitchen, I worked on videos, and I recorded a podcast. And I've posted a podcast, but it won't be out until tomorrow, because that's what we do every Monday and Thursday. We release a podcast. And today is not Monday or Thursday. It is Wednesday, and is my off day. And tomorrow's podcast, as a little teaser, is more or less called Ironman Louisville and Kona preview. But there's a lot of good stuff in there about, race strategy, pre-race strategy for Louisville, for those of you who are doing Louisville. And for those of you doing Kona, it would work too. More of the focus with our Kona discussion was on predictions. Actually, Coach got into the prediction side of it. I didn't have a clue who was even racing. I wasn't even sure if Sebastian Kienle was racing, but he is. I did know that. But just as a spoiler, that was the guy that I ended up picking. But Robbie's got some interesting picks and reasonings behind it. So the podcast will be out in the morning, bright and early. And then as soon as that podcast comes out, I will be heading to the pool for a nice, easy, make me feel good, tune-up swim. I will shower and get that chlorine off me. And then I will probably have a little lunch or brunch, and eventually mosey on up to Louisville, Kentucky, which is where I said there's a little race going on this weekend that many of us in the C26 crew are. Oh, I did get a haircut too. I'm going bald, but you can kind of see what's going on there. Had a nice discussion with my stylist, and we once again confirmed that she is like a bartender, only without drinks. But I think a lot of people go there, get drunk before they go, and then just, spill their problems out to her. So what I said was, you probably get tired of, talking to people all day, because she's kind of a extroverted introvert like myself. And she said, yeah, it gets a little, that's why, like, when she goes home, she doesn't really go, too far socially. So I said, well, why don't we try something new today where we don't talk and you take a break? And I just couldn't do it because I'm too isolated. I do the same thing, except I don't drink before I go over there. I'd use it as it's my social outing, the haircut, the pre-race cut. I said, she said, do you like it? And I said, yes, I do. It looks very fast. And she goes, well, I mean, I'm good. I said, no, I didn't mean you cut it too fast. I wasn't like insinuating that you were, shortchanging me on the cut. I was just saying that it looks like it could be a very aerodynamic haircut. And let me tell you, this is going to go, because I was out, I had it, I actually shave my legs for these races, and I do a very bad job at that. I'm a terrible leg shaver. I don't know how women do it daily or, every other day or whatever they do. I guess you just kind of get used to it and stay on top of it. But I had a huge patch that I missed on the right side of my knee area. And I was out riding the other day, and I could feel it blowing in the wind. And I was thinking to myself, man, wonder what that cost me in drag if I don't get rid of that. And then I got to thinking, well, what if your legs were really all hairy? And it's amazing, actually, once you have shaved legs, how you notice the difference. And I thought that, well, for me, shaved legs actually just feels like you're a faster cyclist, and it's pretty much kind of a big psychological advantage for me. So that said, I will be tuning up my shaved legs and probably shaving this off maybe tonight or tomorrow, depending on how I feel, just for aerodynamic reasons. I don't necessarily know if it affects you much in the water, but it could. It could. And it looks like we're going to be wearing, maybe possibly wearing arm warmers out there, because it looks like the weather, if anything else, if nothing else, it looks like it's going to be a little chilly getting out of the water and onto the bike. So we'll probably be layering up a little bit. Now, I will not be wearing a jacket. Let's suck it up, get the blood flowing and warm up with the arm warmers on. I might fire the toe covers on. Never know, because I'll be barefoot. Might help. And my helmet's pretty warm anyway. Is that Alpine? Yeah, buddy. Thanks, man. Where you at? Yeah, I think the adrenaline flows for me so hard out of the water that I'm not cold long once you get into that groove. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to depend, I suppose, how chilly it is and what the sun situation will be. Oh, you're in Virginia. Cool, man. Hope you're doing well. Wish you could be at Louisville to kind of hang out and run around and chase me. And I hope you're recovering too. So, yeah, then on the run, I just, if it's in the 60s, it's going to be, the weather's going to be perfect. I don't mind the rain. I really don't, on the bike or whatever. I just don't want it to rain too much at the wrong time to get my running shoes soaked and have that whole thing, the whole race. That would suck. I wouldn't mind starting with while it's not raining and then, moving on to the rain. That's the way you do it, right? You don't mind starting when it's dry and then having it start raining while you're running. That's perfect. But if it's raining like all day, it's about 50% chance, so that probably means it won't rain. And I'm more concerned. I just hope it's not too windy, and for no other reason is that makes my rides. Although I ride with wind a lot, but I almost prefer rain over wind. Too much. If it's going to rain a lot or be windy, real windy, I'd prefer it to rain. I think. I don't know. Can't overthink this anymore. I'm just ready to get up there, kind of see everybody, let things go, talk about, whatever. I mean, maybe talk about the race, but, at least I'll just be listening. I don't want to talk too much about what's going on with me. I'm just going to get out there and make it happen. And that was the one thing I did do. I was writing about it a little bit because sometimes it's, sometimes I always write about stuff to kind of clear my head and to understand better how I'm, it forces me to kind of explain how I'm feeling about certain things. So, and today I was just writing about the idea of having fun out there, and we talk about it a lot, and I think everybody talks about it. But the reality is, it's I don't want to say it's not fun, because it is fun if you have your right perspective, but it's very difficult. But if you're looking at it as, wow, this is pretty damn cool, even though it sucks. That's kind of my perspective. Oh, Wes says 5 miles an hour, the wind prediction. Get that from a good source, man. It's 4 days from now. I'm just not going to buy it until I see it. Because the thing that scares me, not scares me, but with this hurricane coming in, and I know it's like hitting land today, and who knows what's going to happen. I mean, like I could seriously see how this thing hits, and then like tomorrow's weather forecast completely flops based on what's happening down there. So until I see 5 miles an hour, or actually until I feel 5 miles an hour, I'm not going to buy it yet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just, I worked in news. It is insane how off guard weather people get caught. They just don't have a clue. I mean, unless they're, I don't even know, unless they're like watching their thing 24 hours, but I know they don't. I mean, weather people, while I love them, usually they're pretty cool people because they kind of don't care. They just sort of show up and do their weather. I know they plot things out, and there's some really good ones and everything like that, but for the most part, they just sort of show up and look at a few tables and then just go on air and like punch some things in their computer and then act like they're happy-go-lucky types. Except I did learn a lesson when I moved to Nashville because there's some pretty intense severe weather. Where I came from was northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin area, and we get storms, but it's nothing really that big. But I went in TV. I was the promotions guy, so I was the sort of the guy that you probably behind a lot of the stuff that you get sick of seeing on TV, which is this, our weather keeping you safe, and we're going to be there every storm. We're going to be standing in the storm, and we're going to tell you, 24, give you the most notice, and like you're safe here. Watch it. That was my job, to make those promos for TV. So, I got a lot of that. What's that called? Crying wolf thing up in Wisconsin, Illinois. Because we would go on there like at the instant, like they thought maybe possibly we might get a few thunderstorms, and I would have to like change our whole promo lineup for the day and start running all these weather promos. Like, when it hits, turn to channel 17. We're going to keep you safe in the storm. And yeah, so it is the only job where you can be wrong most of the time and not get in trouble. So we would go crazy on these weather promos, and then I would show up at work, and a lot of times it was a snow up there because, be like, and I don't even know why, because nobody cared about snow up there. You just got up and drove in it. It was like, they would get all like, we would scare the shit out of everybody and with all these promos. And then I'd come into work the next morning, and sure enough, it hadn't even snowed overnight. So I'd be looking at them like, really? Why? What are you doing? So then I had that mentality, and then I came down here, and they made me start doing it for severe weather in Nashville. And so I'll never forget the first time that happened. I was like, normally when that kind of big event-y type stuff happens, I have to stay late and be there in case they needed me for updated promos or all these things. And I just left. I made a few extra promos in the day, and we put them on air, and I just left at like 5 o'clock. And I was living downtown Nashville at the time, and they were talking about all these severe storms and tornadoes and all this shit. And I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. I went home, and I remember I was living like on the 7th floor of this apartment building downtown, and I was just sort of watching TV or whatever, and the storm hit, and I was scared shitless. I mean, it was like wicked. And the wind was blowing. I thought we were going to get hit by a tornado. I was on the 7th. I thought I was going to get literally hit by a tornado up there, and my phone's ringing off the hook. Where are you? Where? And I'm like, well, I didn't think, this was real, but so we get some storms in Nashville that are pretty intense at times. But anyway, all to make the point that for the most part, weather people just sort of show up and look at a few models that are supplied to them by the National Weather Service, and then they kind of like make their little own custom adjustments based on, I don't even know what. It was so funny because the other day I literally was thinking about when I was going to go for what I was going to wear for my ride. And I was going to go outside and ride. And I was looking for my phone because I was going to go like right then. And I was looking for my phone to see what the temperature was. And I said, you know what, maybe I think I'm going to go outside and just see how it is. I actually walked outside and like felt the weather, the temperature, and then I made a decision as to what I was going to wear. And that's when it dawned on me that this world is completely jacked. And like seriously, like those weather people would never even look outside. They'd always just be watching radar. I said, "Have you looked outside lately?" And then they every once in a while they would come upstairs and go out the side door and like go, "Holy shit, it's hailing!" And I'm like, yeah, and you guys have no idea. Um, so hopefully there's no hail. Like there was actually hail last year for those of us who raced at Louisville. I didn't get really hit by anything big, but I saw a lot of it as I was coming back into town off that bike. Just sitting on the road along next to the limbs and sticks and leaves, and there's crap everywhere on River Road. I was just bunny hopping a lot of things on the way in, and that's no lie. And I looked out at the river, and it was whitecaps. So, and then we get into the tent by the Ironman store and all that business. There was those big floppy Ironman things there, all knocked over on the ground and everything. And I knew it was bad, but Jesus, it must have been hell for people watching that race. Because my mom was there, and she just said it was awful because it was cold. And I remember getting off the bike, and I was running in a tank kit with nothing else, and I felt fine. And they kept asking me if I wanted a jacket, if they wanted to sneak me a jacket or a T-shirt or something, and I was like, no. I felt perfectly fine until the end. And then, as somebody mentioned in the group the other night, the closed group on Facebook, they were wondering why you get so cold at the end of a marathon. And that is exactly what happened. I was absolutely frigid within about 5 minutes. You put your, little reflector blanket on. That does help, don't get me wrong. But, man, I was absolutely frozen. And I forgot how that works. It's because your blood is in your legs and core. And then, yeah, it rushes out of there or something. And your core gets cold because it's trying to spread blood around back into wherever. I don't know, something like that. But it's definitely a real thing. And I'm sure it'll probably be in effect on Sunday if it's going to be 60 something for a high. So make sure that you have somebody there to give you a nice hoodie, preferably one with Crushing Iron logo on the front because they are toasty. And the new Crushing Iron Rip-Away sweatpants. No, we don't have those. But so it's 18 minutes. All right, I'm going to go watch some. I caught onto this. I forgot what it's. Oh, it's called The Staircase on Netflix. I just started watching it. Has anybody seen it? Is it any good? It seems pretty good. It's this weird documentary about a murder, but like all the people are in it in that time. I don't understand like how this happens. This guy got accused of killing his wife, and he's just like on camera for all these interviews and stuff. I don't know if it's a reenactment or I haven't figured it out yet. But anyway, I'm gonna go check that out and just lay back for the rest of the night because there's no baseball on, and it's been an off day for me, which I actually kind of liked, to be honest. I said I didn't do anything, but I got a lot done around the house, little things. Trying to keep the house, clean the house before you leave. It's nice to come home to a clean house. But I've got so much crap already packed. I promised I was going to go light, and I just can't. I'm bringing the kitchen sink with me this time again. I got a lot of nutrition. I got a whole bag full of nutrition and just race belts and arm warmers and all that stuff, earplugs and goggles, and it's actually not that bad. I've got 2 backpacks and a little suitcase, so I feel pretty good about that. I do have a bag full of assorted Crushing Iron gear that has not been sold. I had it with me in Chattanooga. So if you saw it there, it's not that exciting. There's some odds and ends and weird sizes and stuff like that. So if we run into each other, I may be having that bag out in the lobby at the hotel one afternoon. But it's like I said, it's not all that. So anyway, yeah, the haircut could be the secret. It could be something. Anyway, so I hope you guys are prepared for your race. I hope I have made sense in some of these things, and I'm glad that you guys watched. And there's actually been, I guess, a decent number of people watching them, and I have fun doing them. I think the truth is it's very difficult for me to keep talking about what I did today in triathlon. So that's why I like kind of going off on tangents, and I might just keep doing it because I like that part of it a lot. And it's sort of like the podcast in a way where we just, it's like, how much can you talk about staying in zone 2? I get it, but we have some nice sidebars, and I think that's what makes things kind of interesting. I never have a script for these. Maybe I should, but it is what it is. It's just me. You're free to email me at crushingiron@gmail.com and say, hey, maybe we can meet up. And hey, Jason, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate the well wishes, and I'm glad you like these little ramblers. Yeah, like I said, I could keep doing them. Maybe, you know what I've been thinking about, and I know I should be incorporating into these, is more whiteboard activity, because that's when I really shine. Let's face it. When I'm bringing out the whiteboard, I mean, that really kind of brings this thing home. So maybe when I get back from Louisville, I'll start having whiteboard sessions, and then that way I can walk you through the psychology of triathlon through my eyes and ears instead of the high tech. I like to keep it low tech, and I'm the guy who doesn't race with heart rate, but I race with heart rate by how hard I'm breathing. That's sort of how I listen to my that's how I find my zones, just by breath. And it works for me if I remember. I don't like being tied to the numbers. I know I'm probably going to get into the power meter thing after this race again, and I think it has helped me a little bit with understanding the feel of certain things. But I won't be racing with it, and I will just be using the muscle memory of what I thought power metering felt like. Sunday I went out with Corey CC, my buddy. We went out to the lab, and he had a power meter, and I kept trying to guess, like it's a flat, and we just riding side by side, and I was trying to guess what the watts were, and I was fairly close. So hopefully that means something. If not, I will be biking for dough and running for show. I'm kidding. I do not want to do that. I do not. So that being said, I'm going to go watch some little more Staircase and see if I can get into it. If not, I'll fall asleep, and that might be better. Nikki, enjoy the race on Sunday. I'm sure the fast haircut and shave will help you. Thanks, Nikki. I appreciate it. Can't hurt. Can't hurt. I feel sleeker when I'm shaved, and I got the hair trimmed down. It'll be under a helmet. Maybe, we're not sure if it's going to be under a hat yet or not. I'm going to make that a game time decision. But thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow, probably from Louisville. All right, sleep good.